Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, June 24th, 2022. The main fire potential impacts for the next few days continue to be a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms, mainly to Utah, but on Saturday we'll have an increase in thunderstorms once again over Nevada, and some of those storms will linger in Nevada on Sunday. Yesterday we had quite a bit of thunderstorm activity, really the most I think we've seen this widespread yet this fire season, at least since things have started to dry out. Many of the storms in Utah were accompanied by some precipitation. In Nevada, the precip was a little bit more hit or miss, especially in the north. And on this lightning here, the purple and yellow, or the purple and blue strikes are from yesterday, and then in Utah, these reddish, orangish strikes are from today. Quite a bit of initial attack was seen with this increase in thunderstorm activity, but as of now it appears that most of these fires have stayed on the smaller side. Observed precip is shown here for the past 7 days on the left and the past 30 days on the right, and we can see as we were having those storm tracks into the Pacific Northwest, our precip stayed pretty high over Idaho and even northern Nevada and northern Utah, but over the past week things have dried out a bit across Idaho. And we have seen some precip move into northwest or northeast Utah over the past 7 days, and we'll see that this doesn't include the precip from yesterday. So when that comes in, we'll see that increasing over Utah and parts of Nevada as well. Ear seeds are shown here for a few areas where we have seen some of that initial attack, and those values are above normal for the time of year, but just slightly. We have seen kind of an increase over the past week or so in those values with some of our warmer, drier weather, and we should see them stabilize a bit as thunderstorms move in each day, especially over Utah. This morning's satellite imagery is showing that moisture still in place over Utah and up in eastern Idaho and western Wyoming for another round of thunderstorms in those areas today. Nevada is going to be on the drier side today, and then we can see that trough along the Canadian border as well. So for this afternoon, really just looking for thunderstorms to pop up again over Utah, up into southeast Idaho and western Wyoming, with drier conditions over Nevada and Idaho. Closer look showing where those thunderstorms should develop today, mostly central and eastern Utah and up into western Wyoming area. Temperatures are a little bit cooler today, highs around 90, a little bit warmer in the west. On Saturday, more of the same thunderstorms, isolated thunderstorms over the higher elevations of Utah, but there is a little wave moving through the flow around that ridge into Nevada, which will kick off some thunderstorms once again over the central part of the state there. No high-risk triggers have been issued. The thunderstorms kind of decrease a bit over northern Utah by Saturday, but again, just over the higher elevations of central and eastern Utah, and then that kind of, as that moisture associated with that little wave will produce some isolated thunderstorms over central Nevada. And minimum relative humidities are in the teens for most of the area. On Sunday, moisture remains in place over central and eastern Utah with drier conditions elsewhere. Probability of precip here shown on the left, again just highlighting central and eastern Utah, mainly the higher elevations. And then the afternoon wind gusts here on the right showing that we have very light winds across most of the Great Basin, but outflow winds are expected with any thunderstorms that do develop. And 3-day precip totals are shown here, not really looking for heavy amounts of precip with any of these storms, even in Utah. The best chance for more significant precip, of course, is the higher elevations of the Uintas, and then over the higher elevations there in southern Utah, and just spotty precip elsewhere. Of course, the bulk of the precipitation is to the south and the east. On Monday, the ridge develops or strengthens over the Great Basin, so our temperatures will really start to warm up starting early next week with that ridge in place. Light winds and generally dry conditions on Monday. On Tuesday, a little trough moves into the Pacific Northwest right along the Canadian border there. That will cause the ridge to flatten just a little bit and allow a little bit more moisture up into Utah for very isolated thunderstorms there. We may see winds pick up midweek over Nevada. Right now it's looking like they're just below criteria for any kind of warnings, but we'll keep an eye on that, especially with some of the lightning that we've had. Holdovers may be a concern as we head into early next week with temperatures warming and drying. Wednesday, more of the same, generally dry pattern with some possibly increasing winds over Nevada and western Utah. And on Thursday, the ridge looks to strengthen back in just a bit, and that will allow a little bit more moisture to return to southern and southeast Utah. 7-day totals not deviating much from the short term. Most of this precip in Utah is coming in today and tomorrow, and then we'll see a little bit of moisture possibly return by the second half of the work week next week. The extended forecast for the first week of July is calling for below normal temperatures, somewhat surprisingly for July, over much of the southwest U.S. And the monsoons look to be in full swing here with moisture above normal, moisture mostly to our south and east, but enough moving into Utah to probably keep our fire potential somewhat moderated. This concludes today's fire potential briefing. Please check back tomorrow for the latest updates.